Bad mood all day, man. Got in a fight with this girl the other day. Do you ever meet somebody like within like the first couple of minutes of them meeting you, they feel like they can like sum you up? Just like, you know what your problem is? You know, you just have like the urge just to take their head and just mush it into whatever they're eating, you know? You ever have crazy thoughts like that? Can you relate on any level? You never have like urges? You ever drive down the street and see like 30 people up on the sidewalk and you just think, right? You don't do it, you just think it. That's what separates the psychos from the functioning psycho.
This rabbit hole, but we did it anyway. So for the sake of time, we only got time for one news story. And because it's Valentine's Day, I'm going to just pick out the one news story. So I don't know if you guys remember a couple of months ago, we were talking about the impact of COVID, and we were all speculating what COVID is going to have, you know, long-term effects of COVID is going to have in regards of birth population. And I think it was maybe just Smith and I agreeing that there's going to be less people having kids, and Black Zeus and Kel. Yeah, I thought that people are going to have kids regardless. Mm-hmm. You guys can remember correctly?
Yes.
All right. So this is from Zero Hedge. Italian birth rates fall 22% in December, exactly 9 months after the lockdown began. While people around the world have been trying to figure out what to do for fun during COVID-19 lockdowns, having unprotected sex apparently isn't one of them. According to new figures out of Italy, bambino production is down by a staggering 22% across Italy, 15 cities. Essentially, these are some of the demographics experts have been predicting a baby bust across Europe for 2021 as the impacts of last year's lockdown is felt. A survey conducted in 5 European countries during the March and April lockdown showed many people calling off planning to have kids. German and French were more likely to say that they were delaying, while Italians were more likely to say that they are abandoning to have kids.
See, that's...
And this and one more story. This goes in conjunction. This is also from Zero Hedge. Collapse of newborn population is really here. The births in China plummeted 15% in 2020, and they're, you know, for the sake of time, they're citing the same thing. They are ultimately what they're calling this. They're calling it the baby rust. You know how we had the baby boom. They're calling this the baby rust.
Hold up, Al. Number one, ain't none of them stories in America. See, the issue is we all locked up because you know how we do like the little baby mama deadbeat dad stuff. So we couldn't get out, slay that random chick, get her pregnant, and then leave the baby without taking care of it.
Ain't nobody fucking like them Italians, man. Go ahead.
Exactly, Smith. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, though.
Because U.S.
I'm just telling you some real shit. Go ahead.
Smith, you're going to take my talking point. Go ahead. I'm going to concede to you, bro.
I can't.
But them
I'm letting Carol talk.
But them Italian dudes ain't smashing random chicks and being deadbeats. They starting families over there.
Hold on, let's not just start that toxic masculinity bullshit and just start naming all dudes that ain't with the baby mama dead.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase the statement. You don't got dudes just smashing random chicks being deadbeat dads and moms.
You don't have
chicks. Shoot, let me finish. And chicks just trapping niggas just to get that child support. You don't got that over there.
Okay,
all right.
I like the equal opportunity right there. I like the equal opportunity.
Yeah, you swung, man.
You swung that gate both ways. All right, I can respect that. I support that message.
Yeah, like obviously the responsible people gonna be like, yo, now ain't the time to have a baby. I'm talking about the niggas who just pop up, bitch be like, I'm pregnant. Nigga be like, so what you doing? She gonna be like, I'm keeping it. Like, you ain't had too many of them situations because of COVID, bro.
I don't know, bro. Because when
it's going to shut down in the U.S. Watch when the numbers come out in America. You're going to see.
Yeah, bro. Because when you look at the most sexually active countries, yo, Italy ranked in the top 10. America doesn't even crack the top 20 in regards of most sexually active.
Yeah,
America be bullshit.
What's the marriage rate?
I want to know what's going down in
They trying to get money.
I need to know the marriage rate. Because if most of them married, then that should make sense.
It ain't the marriage rate you got to pay attention to. You got to look at the divorce rate over here that's about to happen. Or it happened.
Yeah, but you also got to look
leaving right now. People ain't having babies. They leaving each other in America. This pandemic fucked them over here. And over there, they was like, nah, we ain't having no kids. And over here, they was like, we ain't having no kids either. I'm leaving your ass. Watch when the numbers come out.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but you
don't have kids.
There's a lot of
Cal.
factors. You gotta look at other factors. Yeah,
you know people ain't trying to have no kids.
Because like in Italy, that's also the home of the Catholic Church, and all Italians are Catholic, and they follow their religion, and they says, oh, make as many as God will let you have, and this, that, and the other. So yeah, they might be higher in birth rates than here it is, over here. But that being said, as Kel does have a point, as far as the birth rates. Honestly, I don't see a problem with this. Like, our population of 7 billion people on the planet causing, global freaking warming, causing famine, causing, we eat more, we take more resources down. A slowdown of the human population, I don't see anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. We got room. All right. It's not like, oh no, if they don't make babies, we're going to die off. No, bro. We got 7 billion people on the planet. Even if you Thanos the whole situation, you would still have 3.5 billion people on the planet. We good.
What it is, they see that these niggas is killing us off with COVID, so they're like, fuck it. Don't kill us. We just ain't gonna make nobody else.
All right.
And you also got to take into the fact of the people who have already passed away from COVID. They not around to make babiys, so you got to take all of that.
Man, those folks who was passing COVID, they're too old. They old as hell.
No, it's not just old folks. There was young people dying. There was younger people dying. There was people that were diabetic.
Not enough.
Not enough to drop it 22%.
Exactly.
No, I'm just saying every bit counts. Every bit counts is what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, right? One, U.S. in 2020, going into 2020 before the pandemic started, they were already reporting that the U.S. birth rate was below replacement level. And I hear what you're saying, Shu. There's a lot of people. The problem is those people are divided among several countries, and there's political and economical ramifications if your country is starting to drop off population rise. And I think this is why the Biden-Harris administration wants to bring in 11 million undocumented immigrants into this country, or legalize 11 undocumented immigrants into this country, because it helps your population number and it helps from an economical standpoint. I hear you. There's been a couple of people who've made the argument that we're overpopulated, but unfortunately we created this weird ecosystem where you need those numbers of people to some capacity. So
to some capacity, but the whole thing is when you have such a high rate, like when we talk about our rate of let's use the undocumented immigrants, this, that, and the other. You're bringing them into a population, and how does that help us economically? If
now you have a new tax base, now they're actually paying into the tax system.
Yes, but the whole thing is the fact of how many are paying into the tax system, and then how many are.
If you got 11 undocumented, if you have 11 undocumented and they become actual citizens, they're now into the tax-based system.
Okay.
They're making them legal.
I hear what you're saying, but the whole thing is you make it sound like every single person is eligible to work, as if there won't be any people that will be like, well, I have an issue, I'm old, this, that, and the other. Let me get on this Social Security. Let me get on this disability. Let me get on this welfare system, this, that, and the other. Then you have to also consider the fact of, okay, maybe daddy works, but mama doesn't work, and they got 3 babies. Now those 3 babies are going to the school system, continuing to overpack the school systems while there's only one income coming into that household.
But in that situation, you're still going to have someone but still though, I think, and this is why
the trade-off really worth it though. One person's
that
taxes,
could be an argument about culture, because it sounds like a cultural clash issue. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, this is why many countries in Europe has opened up their gates to African countries to have immigrants come into their country, because they're seeing a population decline. And when you're talking about, global power and infrastructure, numbers matter.
Numbers, yeah.
Oh yeah, numbers definitely matter. Numbers definitely matter.
So it's just like if you have like for instance, one of the things that the Prime Minister of Italy is concerned, and there's incentives. Like there's countries now they're seeing these sort of staggering numbers, and the pandemic is definitely not helping. Yo, they're trying to incentivize people to have kids, like with money and stipend. Like yo, we'll pay for shit because they understand the importance of having a booming population. You know, but that's my only news for the day because it's Valentine's Day. So it's going to be interesting.
So go do your part, fellas.
Do your part. Yeah, that's man. I'm about to say.
Hey, look, I'm not saying whether or not this is right or wrong.
Listen, me and Smith have already contributed to the cause. Y'all got to catch up.
I'm just saying that. Well,
and I need you to catch up before mine catch up. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is this pandemic. This pandemic, man. Yo, Cass's just not trying to have kids on a global level. They're like, nah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know
you
that.
You got that long money, man. You got that long money. You good?
You're like, nah.
I don't understand.
I know you just got that new car, but
what do you ain't understanding, Cal?
I mean, like, yo, the pandemic ain't lasting forever. Is it like? Okay, I'm afraid that another pandemic like this might happen, or I'm just not
financially.
Answer
me. You look like you might
make a baby.
Well, no.
Let Smith answer. I might make a baby, and then I won't be around to take care of it.
Exactly, that's one. And right now, they're saying this. They're saying we're about to be living in an endemic. Like this is not going to end anytime, and we're just going to be living with this virus. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So people like, man, I don't want to bring. You know what I mean? Like Shuba just said, I don't want to bring nobody in here and then I'm leaving and I can't protect my own or be here for them. People scared, shit.
Facts.
Like, bro, at the end of the day, people scared. And they got a right to be like, you know, you can't live in fear, but people scared as hell. I mean, AIDS was killing people, but shit, not like this. God damn. Like, fuck. You know what I mean?
You actually had an option in that. Like, you had
Wait, but crack was taking people too, but not like this. Like, this shit crazy.
Yeah, like not only is it wiping out people, but it's also like wiping out people's savings. Financial
savings, yeah.
They're saying that the job landscape is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
They say that the job landscape is not going to be the same, bro. Like all of these
corporations are realizing that they're cutting out the cost of having the rent of space because they can have people like Prad work from home. I don't need to pay for this office building. Prad, work your ass from home. You know,
and
you know,
to
the only
that
problem
point,
with that, they want to adjust salaries though too.
They do, but to Shuba's point. You have me working from home. You got to think of the trickle down effect of that. Now I'm working from home. The local restaurant, the restaurant in the business district is not getting the foot traffic because I'm no longer in the office building or the local dry cleaner. Bruh, I can't tell you the last time I stepped foot in the dry cleaner for my shirts and my slacks. You know,
Damn. I hear you, and
you saved a lot of money.
Exactly.
Really? I hear you, and I agree with you. My whole thing is the fact of, nobody, like, the reality is, human beings are selfish. I don't care how much people try to say, oh, they this and they got all this money. People are fucking selfish, all right?
Yes,
so you're not going to get the large corporate guy to think, well, we got to keep the dry cleaner going, and we got to keep the place that Pratt puts gas in his car going, and we got to keep the subway system going, that Pratt rides to work into New York, and
exactly.
And the homeless guy that he steps over and gives 50 cents to every day.
Well, I give $1, bro. Don't bro. I do give $1.
I do not walk around with loose change.
I walk over him.
I will say this much. This is when it's going to get really real. Is when people start seeing these changes actually happen, and they realize how interconnected we actually are.
Bingo. And that's the thing. That's the thing. We're so interconnected, and because of all this, like the New Jersey Transit just announced that they're doing a special monthly pass because they don't have the same number of people coming in. Now, what's the impact of that? If you don't have the number of foot traffic catching the public transportation, they don't need the same number of engineers and conductors and all of that stuff. So all of that has an impact.
Yep, everything.
So like if you're like, for instance, I could disclose this. My company last year basically said they're gonna not do any layoffs. Phew, all right, good for me. But like, I don't know what 2021 is gonna look like. I don't know what 2022 is going to look like. So it's just like when you have that sort of uncertainty in the job market, you're gonna hold off big expenses, aka a child.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just the reality of it all. True. And I hope that people start to see this and it starts to sink in a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, we might put all this dumb shit to the side that doesn't fucking matter, or which bathroom you get to use, or, you know, or it's white supremacy in math, or, you know, like all this other woke
I would have thought
bullshit.
the pandemic would have had a lot of people come to their senses, but when you see this
That
shit
shit
being
makes
on
it
the
worse.
forefront, it's just like, yo, there's no hope for humanity. Bro.
Yeah, the problem is people had too much time to be in the house by themselves.
Yeah.
And their minds started to chatter.
Speaking
I
of,
like that.
let's transition into the book.
I
This
like
is
that. Well done, Smith.
Mr. Kelvin
Yeah.
Henry's book of this go around, which is Chatter by Ethan Kross.
I applaud you, Mr. Henry, because I'm actually impressed that you would actually pick such a selection.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was such a
man.
cycle. I had to re-listen to chapter 1 and 2 again just to write down some points. So we're gonna start off with Mr. Henry's book, question, which is our negative chatter necessary to keep us grounded, or is it an important impediment?
Hold up.
Unfortunate
Before we get into the question, somebody needs to give a quick idea, synopsis, what this book is basically about. You know, for those that may be listening, you just go into questions on a book that nobody knows what the book is basically.
Yeah, you're just introducing the book.
Yeah, so chatter is basically about your inner voice and how it works. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Did that sum it up? Or you need something else?
Well summarized.
That's good.
There you go.
All right. Well, let me reiterate his question. Is our negative chatter necessary to keep us grounded, or is it an unfortunate impediment?
I've agreed to not go first on my questions.
I'll go first. Since he's like, yeah, I'm not answering my own question. All right.
No, I am. I just ain't gonna go first.
It's a combination of both, I think. You kind of do need negative chatter to keep you level-headed in regards of things that you might want to pursue. Not necessarily want to talk yourself out of it, but you got to weigh the pros and cons of things. But, you know, a lot of times I think Ethan Kross get into it, it's almost like this analysis by paralysis, where you're constantly having to think of all of the negative outcomes, and then you take no action whatsoever. And then next thing you know, it's just like you're kind of stagnant in your life. So I think it's a combination of both. Like, you kind of need to have, you got to be able to weigh the pros and cons about a multitude of things in your lives, but you don't want to enter this sort of like analysis by paralysis where you get nothing done.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking was that basically with the whole thing.
You went low, Shu.
Oh, sorry. Let me move my microphone.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
So the whole thing is, I concur with what, P said, because the reality is that life is not all positive, life is not all negative, and we have to be able to take that information and make calculated risk, on everything that we do, whether it be expose ourselves to going out dating and trying to meet someone, or apply for a job, or be on the little league team, or whatever the case may be. I think the major point here with negative thoughts or negative voices, I'll say, chatter, negative chatter, is that it's kind of like your negative chatter is like the asshole in the room. We don't want to hear that asshole that's saying the fucked up stuff or the reality. It's like, yo, we overpopulated, this, that, and look how we're affecting climate change and yah. And that asshole, even though we don't like what he's saying, has some validity, and we have to be able to say, okay, let's take the information that the asshole said, and apply it to our decision making and our actions intelligently. And that's the thing, is I think most people, they let that asshole completely dictate the conversation instead of just be a part of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Smith?
Because like that, they was talking about, yeah. What's up? You can't hear me?
No, go ahead.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
No?
Go ahead, Smith. You good?
Oh, you got wait.
No,
Can
you
you hear me now?
Yeah,
you was lagging a little bit, just a little bit. You good though? You good.
All right. Oh, so I was, I agree with that. Because it's easy to go down that negative rabbit hole. Like they was talking about, the author was talking about that pitcher, ankle or ankle.
Yeah.
And he let it. Yeah, he let it get into his head so much that he actually lost his job. You know what I mean? That the negative thoughts can cause damage if you allow that. It depends on how much you allow yourself to listen to it. But I think you do need a part of that to be grounded. I was thinking about if I have the negative thoughts like that, and sometimes there is a flourish that might run across, but it's like quickly stamped out. You know what I mean? It's like a brush fire, and I put it out real fast. I don't know how that's done. This book is opening me up to to look at that and evaluate a little further.
Yeah, I think if it
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, real quick, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever received therapy, Smith?
Have I received therapy? Yes.
Yeah, maybe some of those sessions, and you probably kept a lot of those attributes from the sessions, is why you kind of quickly turn those negative thoughts off. Because I was thinking the same thing. But go ahead, Cal. Okay. My bad.
Yeah. No, I just think that the inner voice really is just an impediment if it's sort of like hyping you up or making your thoughts irrational. Sort of like how the little killer homegirl in the last book was like, okay, my inner voice is telling me that what the fuck I'm doing is right. I just think, like, personally, man, the only part that is unfortunate, this is just personally with that whole inner thought for me, is like, man, I'll think about something that I did wrong at work, and like that shit is just fucking like
devastates you.
Yeah, it just stays in my mind, and like I could be eating my fucking favorite meal, and I still sometimes go back to that. Or I'll lay down in bed, and I'll still go back, down and think about that shit.
Or interrupt your sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I'll not to the point to where like Enki like lost his job, but I can understand how it's just like, damn, like even if a nigga's saying that this shit ain't that big of a deal, it's like, yo, that inner voice is like fucking me up right now.
Yeah, the inner voice can cause you to lose your girl. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm talking about as far as having a sexual relationship with her and you not being able to be there with her. You know what I mean? Be able to fuck her, basically. You know what I mean? Because you have overthought some shit in your head that's fucked you up. You know what I mean? A negative chat in your head. That voice in your head could do a lot of damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now you flash it with a limp dick. Go ahead, Cal.
Oh, dear God. Yo, you almost made me spit my orange juice.
The fucked up part about it is like, we all been athletes at one point where, you kind of hype yourself up, like, fuck, I'm about to turn up so-and-so. Like, the pep talk that you give to yourself dwarfs the fucking negative thoughts that you think about. Like, yo, I'm not up at night thinking like, man, I fucking dropped 50. And they're like, the positive chatter doesn't follow me around like how the negative shit does.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. I think Michael Jordan said it best. Like, out of all the championships he's won, he talked about games in college that he lost that still eat at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why we wired like that, but we remember the negative more so than the positives.
Yeah,
that negative shit it weighs.
You
gotta know how to release that shit, let that shit go somewhere else, because it will stay in your head. You know what I mean?
It's just a theory.
And I get the my fault. Let me just say that I get to drive to New Brunswick. You know what I mean, to pick up my kids and see my kids and all this shit. And I don't know if I ever told you, I drive sometimes, with no music, anything, and the fucking chatter. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I can dictate it sometimes. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's involuntary. Sometimes voluntary. But the fucking chatter
You got to
That
catch
shit is
yourself.
amazing.
You got to catch yourself. That's when you could dictate it. When it's like, well, man, what the fuck was I just thinking about? Let me come back to it. But yeah.
Next thing you know, you back in your destination. You like, how the damn, like, yo, I spent an hour thinking about this shit.
And just even thinking about it, like, I think I shared this shit with Cash. Even with like the audiobooks, I can only do it in spurts, like 10 minutes at a time, because then I will start thinking about other shit. A lot of times, it's for real. Like the audiobooks, I try to do it first thing in the morning. My mind is fresh, because once I start moving around or I get that first text message from work, it's like, yo, that's it. Like my focus is gone, and then I start thinking about that shit. I don't know. Go ahead, Shu.
I was just gonna say, like, I think the reason why the negative makes more of an impact than the positive is because the same way that with positive feelings or positive things, it's a quick burst, not to be gross, but like when you orgasm, that shit like is quick. As fast as it comes, as fast as it's gone. It's not like a lasting sensation, versus like the negative. Any pain and suffering you've been through seems to last longer and make more of an impression on you than that positive. You understand what I'm saying?
So, Shu, let me ask you this question. You think that Patrick Mahomes was kicking himself about that loss longer than the nigga like Tom Brady was celebrating that victory? Maybe not Tom Brady, because that nigga got like 7 rings now.
I was gonna say, like, that's a bad example, bro.
Whoever that first nigga is. So it's your first Super Bowl. Oh, what's my man name? Fucking Matthew, who got all the fucking penalties called against him. You think that nigga's dwelling on the fact that he lost longer than the nigga who is dwelling on the fact like, yo, I just won that championship?
Yeah. Because the other part of it is the fact of, the things we dwell on, it's like, damn, what could I have done differently to change that? Like, remember, the book refers to the fact that we go back in time. And when we go back in time, we think about that conversation. We think about that episode, whatever, over and over again. I could have moved a little faster. I could have said this. I could have did that. Oh, that was so stupid of me. Now you're going even deeper into it. Versus when everything goes right, you're like, oh, that was great. You don't think to yourself, how could I have made that better? You're thinking it was great just the way it was. So that doesn't last as much, because there's no introspection on that. Versus introspection on the negative, you feel like you could have done something to make it better or change it or prevent it, or you feel like, you haven't been vindicated, whatever the case may be. Versus when you win, how can you make it better? Score more points. You can't win anymore. You won.
But like, that scenario,
more points, it's still, you won.
That scenario is just a little different, because the only thing about that is they're going to constantly be reminded right now. Wherever they go, they either won, like you just said, they either won or they lost. And they're going to be reminded by the public.
I'm just using that as an example. Let's say you went.
But the public's going to remind them, Henry.
Smith, but that's both way though, because when you walking in, they're like, "Yo, what's up, champ? Come on, stop."
I know that's what I said. They're going to. I said both ways. They're going. I said that's
it.
a different scenario, because both ways they're going to be reminded of that for a while.
No, but the difference is. The difference is the fact of, you might come in like, champ, this, that, and the other, but you're just like, I'm a champ. That's it. That's as deep as your thought goes. When you lost, you keep reanalyzing that whole situation over and over again.
I don't know,
the difference is.
Some niggas, Money Mayweather, that nigga don't just be like, yo, he just calling me champ. That shit go that nigga head, bro.
Oh yeah, it goes to his head.
That's what I'm about to say.
But let him end up on his back one time, get knocked out. Watch that dude be devastated.
We'll never know.
Like, you've done a lot of things, and you know what I'm saying. It's about certain.
And don't use Money Mayweather as an example. I still think he paid some of these fools to take it.
I don't think he paid. I think he dodged certain fights.
Yo, is there a way?
No.
I think he dodged. There's certain fights he dodged, and I think that's probably chatter in his head. Like, yo,
that chatter. Oh, I was about to say that.
That chatter in his head, like, you know what? I ain't trying to mess with that dude.
Yeah, I ain't trying. Yeah,
it's like, I tell you right now, the Pacquiao fight. Oh man, I was so pissed off in that.
Well, the Pacquiao fight should have happened several years before it happened. That was the problem.
Happened 7 years before it happened. And when I was watching the fight, one, Pacquiao was not hitting that dude as hard as he could, and two, I kept seeing there was parts in there, if you rewind it, where when Pacquiao started getting the best of him, Floyd would grab him up and hold him up, and you see him whispering something in Pacquiao's ear, as if to say, like, yo, man, don't make it too real. You want to make this money, right? And then Pacquiao would just back off all of a sudden when he had the advantage. So I don't know. I think it's suspect.
You never know.
That I would never know, but I think Floyd dodged certain fights.
Is
and
it
I think
possible?
That was that chatter. Go ahead, Cal.
Is it possible to for an individual to put that same emphasis on the positive shit to sort of balance out the negative?
Nah, like I think
some people probably do, but guess what ends up happening with those people?
Yeah, you could do that.
There's some people that probably do, but here's the thing. The people that do that, right, such as Mayweather, we look at them as a cocky and arrogant and, like they're the other extreme versus the one person that we're like, oh, God, this motherfucker again with his depression and his sob story over and over and over again. Oh, yeah, we know your girl broke your heart. Yeah, we know this, that, and the other. Now you get on the other side of the spectrum, which isn't a lot of people, which isn't the majority. You get that other dude like, yeah, you saw my win. You saw I'm the champ, this, that, and the other. Yeah, like, you look at that dude as arrogant and, full of himself. Yeah. So does it exist? Yes. But in the numbers, not like,
and from a human relatability.
So you said that's the arrogant and full of himself. So Ali was arrogant and full of himself?
Ali was charismatic.
But he was also relatable though, because you saw Ali hit rock bottom and climb back up. Now, I think to Shuba's point, someone like Mayweather who's never tasted defeat, there's nothing I could relate to. And then there's a level of arrogance that comes with that. And
Ali's presentation wasn't
so what about,
a matter of arrogance. It was more a matter of confidence. And there's a thin line between arrogance and confidence, And the whole thing is that's what made Ali loved by the people. Yeah. Like, people saw him as confident. They see him as arrogant.
And he was a religious man. So that was another relatable thing that I don't know if Floyd is religious or not, but like when you especially exude that level of confidence and then you do all this flamboyant shit with your money, it's just like, I don't know, man. To a lot of people, that shit is a turn off. I didn't like the Money Mayweather character, to be honest.
That was a sucker character.
Yeah, like I love when he was Pretty Boy because he was hungry. He was you could understand that thrive to be successful.
Pretty Boy Floyd was different.
Yeah, Pretty Boy Floyd was different.
Yeah, true story.
All right, let's get the next question. This is a Black Zeus question, and I actually like this question.
Black Zeus.
If the voice in our head is an amalgamation of our parents and other voices, amalgamation of our parents and other voices, then how much of our thoughts and feelings and actions are truly our own?
So, I don't know if you guys ever. So this conversation is not new to me because I don't know if you ever heard of another neuroscience scientist by the name of Sam Harris. He wrote a book called The Moral Landscape, and Sam Harris has presented this argument before. Basically, like, we don't know. As we're speaking, we don't know what our next words are going to be. They just kind of pop out as we go along. We don't know what our decisions, we say, we'll make this decision in a scenario, but until we're in that scenario, we don't really know what our actions are going to be. So the whole thing is, he's basically saying, are we really in control of who we are and what we do and this, that, and the other? Is it really something that we have power and control over? So if you take that into account and say, okay, well, if our voices in our heads come from our experiences from our parents, repeating the same thing over and over again, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, brush your teeth, do your homework, this, that, and the other, whatever the case is, our cultural understandings of, like, the foods we eat that we say we like and we love and this, that, and that, our religious beliefs that, we've been exposed to, our political views that we've been exposed to, and this, that, and the other. Are they really ours, like genuinely ours? Like, or are they really just the repetitiveness of what's been said to us and been fed to us all our lives? Is the chances of someone in Saudi Arabia being Catholic is 0 to none, versus like someone being Muslim in Italy is not likely, So the whole thing is it really our choice? Is it really who we are? Or is it just, an amalgamation of our parents, our friends, our community that makes us who we are, And honestly, it's a question I've been asking myself for the longest,
What did you come up with? What's the answer? What's your answer?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Personally, I'm still trying to figure it out.
I
feel like I develop as I go along.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like I develop as I go along, as I'm exposed to, more individuals, more ideas. But
agreed.
But am I making the decision on those ideas and thoughts based on me or based on that, I was influenced by that?
Well, I think he also mentioned, like, your parents do say to do X, Y, and Z, but then we still choose what it is that we listen to. So, I mean, I think, like, the whole not the culture, but maybe what we're grounded in could be some of the philosophies of our parents. We sort of take our own. Yeah, I mean, you even think about, like, a coach, for example, who started off as an assistant coach. He might take some of the things that he learned from, the coach that mentored him, but then take some of the things and make it his own.
Yeah, but the whole thing is he took it from someone else. He didn't create it himself. So it's not his own creation. It's not him. It's a piece of someone else.
Well, no, the original.
Well,
that's the
idea, but then he thought to put it in place, though. Correct? Mm-hmm. That's still how he chose to think to use it. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's an egg here, but how I think to use this egg, I mean, there's only so many ways that have already been created, but that doesn't mean that that's not my thought to use this egg in that manner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But go ahead, Henry. My bad.
No, I was just saying that to say, like, no, we didn't think of the original way to do it, but we just made it our own. I think that's with anything, really. Like, nigga, Elon Musk didn't create the fucking car, but that nigga made that shit dope as hell, and super efficient. But I don't know. I mean, I think that I have certain aspects, from what my mother taught me, the morals or whatever, like as far as like a work ethic. But then, like, she tells me constantly, like, a lot of your thought process and the way that you act, I wasn't, like, that's not how I was raised. I was raised differently.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask you that. So when you was courting your wife, did your thought process go left of what your mother thought you would do?
No, you know what? It ain't even that. It's just at some point I stopped listening to I don't know if she's the one for you. Not about my wife, but just
that part. Yeah. I
mean, it just stopped mattering. At some point, like, I think, like, the values of what I wanted wasn't because this is what my mom was saying I should get, but it is.
All right, wait, stop there. What I'm saying is, did you ever hear? Was it your voice in your head, or did you hear your mother's voice in your head? Was these your own thoughts? Did it become your own thoughts? Because that's what we're talking about. Was this your own thought, or did you hear your mother's voice?
No,
the inner voice and the inner thought are two different things.
It was mine. Like, it wasn't. But then again, like, Schubert, I did feel like I took some of the shit that she was saying, like, a woman should do this, or you should do this or that, but then I, like, kind of made it my own. Like, she'll even say now, every time I call, it seems like you cooking. And I'm saying, well, I mean, I don't cook all the fucking time, but I do cook. You know what I mean? So, like,
I gotta eat, Mom. I gotta eat.
Yeah, so, like, I'm with it. I do want to be cooked for, but maybe not to the extent that she feels. But I'm not saying, like, fuck it. I'm just not gonna have nobody cook for me because that ain't what I want.
I definitely think we have some of those thoughts, but I don't know if they're thoughts as opposed to traditions, or if they're thoughts as opposed to actually thoughts. But the way that our parents thought are different than the way that we think now. Because times are different. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's, I know it's some of the principles that I have, but I don't know if the principles become the thoughts. You know what I mean?
Smith, that shit probably
Wouldn't
switch.
principles affect the thoughts, though?
I think they affect the thoughts, but I don't know if they are the thoughts. You know what I mean?
They may not be the thoughts. So think of it like this. Your principles, your traditions, your ideals are your foundation, right?
Exactly.
Are your core foundation. They're deeply rooted.
That's the base of the pyramid, yeah.
And your beliefs and your views and this, that, and the other. After that, your thoughts are built on those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the whole thing is the fact of, in order to completely change your thoughts. So let's say you were a Democrat, right? And then now you become Republican, as they say, the red pill, right? You have to uproot. You have to uproot your beliefs and your ideals in order to switch over from being a Democrat to becoming a Republican. Same thing if you switch your ideals or your traditions from a man goes out and work and a woman stays home cooking clean. Like, you have to uproot those things in order to change your thoughts.
I gotta flip that though.
The thoughts will go against the foundation.
Yeah, but so I gotta flip of that. So if the baseline foundation was for me to not bring home a woman outside of my race,
right,
and my thoughts were different, how is that? You know what I mean? I'm not branded by the thoughts of my parents. I'm an independent thinker at this point. No,
but the whole thing is, what the ideal is not rooted in you. The ideal is presented, but it's not rooted. Because if it was rooted, it would have impact on your thoughts. If you understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So the whole thing is,
but it still but it still has an impact on my thoughts, though. It does, and I know that this is not what they want. It still affects my thoughts, and I'm hiding this shit just because I know that's not what they want.
And you're uncomfortable in that
relationship
dynamic.
Uncomfortable.
So, and that's the thing. Here's the thing: when you uproot, have you ever seen a tree fall over and the roots come out the ground?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It does damage to the ground, doesn't it? It doesn't come out nice and neat and smooth. You're in that stage of the uncomfort of that ground being torn up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because those roots are being pulled. So the whole thing is, unless you start putting in new roots and saying this is what it is, and that ground's never going to be even. I mean, as long as you're still trying to hold on to those roots and keep them in the ground, even though the tree is falling over and it's falling out, you're always going to have that damage. So it's either you're in or you're out. And the whole thing is, the in between is that damage.
That's that, yeah. But
so you can't possibly grow a tree without those roots.
Yeah, but are those thoughts now your own thoughts, though? That's what I'm saying. Are those still the thoughts of your forefathers, so to speak?
Now, and that's the interesting thing, because now the thing is, the thoughts that you might have gotten from your mama, right? Don't bring her home if she can't use your comb, has been uprooted.
Yeah.
Right? It's been uprooted.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's been uprooted. Now you're gonna have to put in new roots, and your new roots may be like, nah, mom, your foundation doesn't work for me. This is my. So at that point, I would say, yeah, it's your own, your own foundation is your own thoughts, it's your own roots that you're now putting into the ground yourself.
Yeah, replanting. You're repotting. You're repotting the plant. Yeah,
exactly.
Putting in a different pot. I got you,
Bradley.
I ain't really got much to say on this one. I succeed. We could transition to the next one.
I succeed.
All right, let's get into my man Smith's question. The first one, goddamn, right?
Just go to the question, bro. Your thought ever backfired?
Has your thought chatter ever backfired or caused you to do something uncharacteristic, bro? I was
gonna.
I told y'all niggas, I got 10:45, bro. That question gonna bring us.
My man's in red for Valentine's Day. All right, so let me just repeat that once again. Has your thought chatter ever backfired or caused you to do something uncharacteristic? Absolutely.
All right, Brad, you up first, bro.
Yeah. Well,
he said absolutely.
I didn't know if he was gonna leave it at that. Go ahead, bro.
Lately I've been trying to read a lot of book on stoicism, just to, to basically not necessarily
find something good.
Yeah, there's Mike Cervenicich's Gorilla Mindset that I recently just finished up. Just basically to get better control of my feelings. And I thought I was at a place in which, I had a good control of my feelings and stuff like that. And there was a recent event not too long ago. Kelvin probably could share or disclose later at some other point. But yeah, man, it caused me to do something that was uncharacteristic of me. It happens. I think this book really hit home in regards of those sort of negative chatters, how it seeps in, and a lot of times they're just in that split of a moment, you react in that moment, and you don't necessarily process what those thoughts are saying. You just react on it. So I think it happens. It happens a lot, and hopefully for some folks, the people who are on the receiving end of your negative uncharacteristic behavior are open-minded to like, all right, this might not be, I know who you are, this is unlike you, and they're open to be forgiven or whatever it is. But it happens. I do think that it tends to happen quite often than not.
That negative chat is a motherfucker, ain't it?
Yeah. It certainly can, man. It certainly can.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, it's made me do something that was uncharacteristic more than once. That's where you're still learning to master that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot better with it. I've gotten a lot better with it.
Does it make you think about going to therapy? Because I used to do therapy, and when that happened, I was just like, damn, maybe I need to go to therapy.
No, I went to therapy after all the years of this shit. You know what I mean? I went to therapy after, but that was, I won't say that it wasn't beneficial. But I'm able to be in touch with what I need to be in touch with. So it wasn't a pleasing experience necessarily, but like the things that I've done as far as the negative chatter in my head that tell a motherfucker punch him. You know what I mean?
I ain't never had that one.
Oh, damn.
No, but I'm saying that the negative chatter is so real, it'll happen like you said, it's in an instant.
Yeah.
And you do shit, even as far as like cheating on a girlfriend, that's the negative chatter. That's that negative chatter. That's not just that I'm being horny shit. That's that chatter. That's that shit in your head. And as you going through the motion,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You start fighting. Shit. All right, well, fuck it. I'm not going to get caught. You know what I mean? That negative chatter, that shit is real. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of that shit come down to like, I've made that mistake a lot of times in my relationship with, my wife. Maybe earlier on, starting out, where it's just like, man, I done said this about 2 or 3 times. She ain't listening. Then your head start going like, okay, is it this? Could it be that? Could it be this? And then, I did a couple stupid things that's like uncharacteristic, bro.
Yeah.
Without getting into it, because we recorded this shit, but.
Exactly, but you feel like dog shit right afterwards, man, and you just don't know how to I don't know. Like for me, I quickly try to assess when I feel like I'm uncharacteristic, assess the situation and try to remedy it before it gets really bad.
There's nothing to do that though. You know that, right? That apology ain't worth shit. The negative chatter already took over, and that's all you got to offer. That's all you got to offer. Yeah. You think about it. You like, I'm trying to remedy it. How? By apologizing? Because that's all you got to offer.
You just hope that other person's understanding. That's all it is, I guess.
But no,
you got nothing else to bring to the table but an apology.
You can remedy it in the sense of, I learned from my mistake. I'm not gonna make that shit again.
That's an apology.
Well,
that's an apology, Henry. That's an apology.
Even if you don't apologize to the person.
Even if you apologize to yourself, bro, it's still the same thing. That's all you could bring to the table. You fucked up. You messed up. The negative chatter got the best. and all you got to offer is, I
My
apologize.
bad.
Basically,
I'm
Smith is
sorry.
saying that you
I
can't
fucked
undo
up.
what just has already been
You
done.
can't. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done. The negative chatter got the best of you. You know what I mean? You can't undo it.
Damn.
Um,
That's true.
And then you can't ask somebody to unforgive it. You know
But you
what I mean?
can. You just don't know whether or not they're gonna truly forgive you
Like,
for it.
look, you can't listen, man. Listen,
I mean,
man.
Go ahead, Black
listen,
Zeus. My
man.
bad.
so I personally have struggled with a lot of demons for a good major chunk of my life, and I've been seeing therapists since like the 5th grade, and I still struggle with those demons to this day, and I still see a therapist, and I've ended up in handcuffs more times than I'd want to admit to. I've hurt people more than I want to admit to.
You talking about physically or emotionally?
Both.
Both.
He shared those stories.
Whether it's been like emotionally destroy someone or hospitalize someone, like I've been on both ends of the extreme, or just, I won't say it because we're on this record, but whole thing is I've done some damage. I've done some damage.
Shoot, don't tell us where the body's at, bro.
Hey! I've done some damage. That's enough. All right. So I've done some damage, and there's still a lot of guilt that sits on my heart and everything about it. And then, but there's still some. I'm not gonna lie. There's still some damage I want to do. And those negative voices still rip in the back of my head. I've got names, faces, addresses. I've got too much information that I'm like, I shouldn't have this in my head. I should not know this stuff. I should not, it's a struggle.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's a struggle because it's something
that is bad.
that I've kind of been programmed to do over time, and
Can I ask you a question, Black Zeus?
You
were enrolled, like you were part of the military. Did some of those experiences added on to those negative chatters?
So let's put it like this. If someone has intent and then someone else gives them the tools and capability to act on those intent, it's not the tools. It's just that the tools emphasize, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have the desire and the intent, which I have naturally. The military just gives you the knowledge, the tools, and the capability to.
It gave you an outlet to execute on those negative thoughts.
Yeah, but the problem is those same outlaws are knowledge that I have now to apply.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So which makes it worse. It's not like you leave the military and you leave this knowledge behind. You leave these skills behind. You know what I mean?
They stay with you, yeah.
They stay with you. I still know how to handle many a number of weapons. I still can, hit a target at a distance, and
that could be a different kind of negative chatter right there.
Yeah, and that's a whole different type of negative chatter.
Yeah.
At least the difference is the military tells you what your target is. When you're on your own, now you're choosing the target.
So that's what I was trying to get at. It's just like it sounds as though that military experience, while it was great in some ways, in other ways, it kind of added on to those negative chatters where you don't have that structure and that target anymore.
Right.
All right. Well, you're a dangerous man now. All right.
I wish you didn't say that on it. You got to edit this part.
Yeah.
You got to edit this part.
Dangerous man now. Yeah.
But the whole thing is, my point is the fact of like, that negative chatter can be very, very dangerous.
It is, man.
And the whole thing is, if you're not actively trying to keep it in check, this is why I haven't stopped seeing therapy, because I can't actively keep it in check on my own.
Yeah. The negative chatter is what caused double homicides and murders and all that shit, bro. That's what that negative chatter is. Domestic violence, that negative chatter shit is real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially now that I have a kid, it's like I have somebody who's relying on me to be around and make smart decisions. You know what I mean?
And them voices start saying, "Choke that bitch."
Well, this goes into.
Tell you, man.
Were you there?
Voices.
But you know what?
Voices.
I like your next question, Smith, because I was gonna ask that. Like you have a question where it says, "At what age did the voice in your head start speaking?" Just because, like, sometimes I feel like I have an even cool demeanor about stuff, and then when I had that recent incident with Kelvin, I felt like, yo, that felt so uncharacteristic of me that it's just like that negative chatter just came out of nowhere, and it's just, I don't know, like, I thought I, remedied those sort of like demon
you thought
talks.
You buried it, but that's all you did was bury it. But that's all you did was bury it.
You didn't kill it. You buried it.
You suppressed it. You know what I mean? So he's still there, and he'll come back up. When he's needed, he'll be there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's that thing. When he's needed, he'll be there. He ain't going nowhere. You never got rid of him. That's that real shit.
Some of us,
you know what I mean?
better at burying it. Some of us are better at burying it. Some of us are not. Like, I'm not
knowing that
it's
buried. Yeah, you got to know that it's buried, or you got to know what it does when it comes out. You know what I mean? You got to know how to react when it comes out. Like, oh shit, this shit is about to come.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, you're so right about that. He is so, you don't even understand how right he is about that.
You gotta know.
Like, when you feel
like a big ass shit about to come on.
Dookie about to come.
They're like, hold up.
Where's the bathroom?
Let me put it like this. Have you ever been so mad that you just started crying?
No.
Yeah.
Like,
that's just before a blackout.
It's that you trying to hold on. You trying desperately to hold on.
Yeah.
But you on that borderline of insanity. Okay.
What I would do on some realness though, like if I feel like my emotions would get the better of me and it's not like winterly cold outside, I'll go for a quick run.
Yeah. See, but and that's the funny thing. That's what all my therapists always said, you got to have an outlet. You got to have an outlet. You got to have an outlet. And that's how I got into boxing when I was, 13, 14. I mean, that's how I got to boxing, was an outlet, which you would think is like, that's kind of a violent way to deal with your stress.
Nah, it's perfectly normal, bro.
Yeah, but beat a fucking bag instead of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm gonna put that on the shirt.
You should put that on the shirt, bro.
It better be a boxing shirt. Bro.
That's the third domestic comment you made, man. We gotta talk.
I'm just saying, like, look.
But the whole thing is, it's like there are times that's not available to you in the moment.
Yeah, I know.
The moment when you're being triggered, that's not available. You're not like, my boss just said something that really fucking pissed me off. All right, in the middle of the workday, let me go for a jog. Like, it doesn't necessarily work that way. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can definitely do that later on, but in the moment when you're going to make that bad choice or take that action, it's hard.
Them synapses are going.
especially if you know what you are capable of. You know what I mean? If you really know, like, there's been times I'm like, this motherfucker really don't know what I can do with that spoon. Like, woo! It's hard. It's hard. It's difficult.
But what's that? What? So I think mine started maybe about as early as I can remember. I want to say 12.
That's about right.
You know what I mean? I want to say as early as I can remember.
Makes sense.
But that was some shit where I had voices in my head, but I also thought life was like a TV show and shit. And like there was people outside of that shit conducting it. So that part, like my son, he's 5 and he talks to himself out loud. I don't know if he has the voices in his head, but I'm gonna ask him when I get off this shit. Like, yo, do you be having voices in your head? I want to know now. But he's 5, you know what I mean? I don't know, but he talks. He has playtime by himself and talks and has the characters, which are extra voices, you know what I mean? But do we hear them shits like how we hear them silently? Like that shit that's going through your head right now.
They hear it at that age. I think at that age they're vocalizing because they
don't recognize it.
They don't know how to have that internal conversation.
All right.
I think they just vocalize it because
they check it out.
How.
But I've heard kids. I've dealt with kids, students, right, that told me it's the voices in their head when they done shit. Now this is about first grade, second grade to third grade kind of thing.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's
That it was the voices in my. I'm like, little nigga, there's voices in your head. Motherfucker, we don't play that bullshit over here.
It gets real.
No, but look, check it out. I was a younger teacher at that point. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
I was younger. My experience wasn't the same at that time. Like voices in your head. But when you know what I mean, to play back and to go through certain conversations with students and understanding that they heard shit. They heard the shit that we recognize as the voice in our head. They didn't know that was the voice in their head. They just heard some shit talking, some shit thinking, some shit pondering in their head. Like, what the fuck is that?
On it.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That shit said, grab that pencil and stab him. He keep bothering you. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? It was a voice in my head. Okay, you know what I mean? In a court of law, you get off with the voice in your head. I went up to chapter 4. So go ahead, keep asking the questions, man.
My man said, "Yo, this guy interesting." I had to go in deeper. Kel, at what age did the voice in your head start speaking?
I would say for me, the age that I remember is whatever age I started playing sports. Honestly, that's as far back as I can remember.
What age was that?
It was 13, 12,
Yeah.
13.
13.
That's why I say it makes sense, because I was about to say 12, 13, 12 for me too, because at that age is when I remember, you needed to have good grades, being that, you went to Newark, and, my mom didn't necessarily want me to go to the nearby high school, so I had to make sure. And I like the pressure of all of that, just like shit, like I can't fail, I can't wind up going to Malcolm X Shabazz. Because, I want to mess around and join in the wrong crowd and my whole life is about to be over. So, like, it was that constant, like, talking to myself that was, like, it was stressful, man. It was really stressful, yeah. But,
Hey, Cash, was that your 8th grade year?
It was, nah, because the way Benedict's did something interesting. They came to my elementary school, Newton Street, when I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah,
and I forget who came, but he was like, "Yeah, they start looking at your grades starting in the 7th grade."
So that is right.
Nah. The reason I was asking because I wanted to know if you had like in the between the 6th and 8th grade, if you had that, if you heard the voice in your head that said, "I think she likes me, maybe she doesn't like me."
Oh, that the romantic.
That would have been before, but that would have still been the voice in your head. And that would have been a little bit before 12, maybe 13. Maybe.
You know what I had? I did have those voices in my head. I thought I wasn't attractive because I was so short. A lot of chicks used to say.
So you have the voices in your head with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the voices in my head with that. Bruh, I was short, bruh. I'm short now, but like I was short. And it was just like I wasn't getting girls in elementary school, man. That shit used to fuck with me. Like hard, like damn. I'm like, I'm
the way you just said that, I could tell.
Yeah, seriously.
You just you just had a flashback for it.
Yeah, like I was short.
Yeah, man. Like when I got to Benedict's, I wasn't even 5 feet yet.
Golly, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's
rough. Man. So it was just like it was that little stuff, Those were the voices in my head when I saw all my friends. Yeah. When I saw all my boys getting girls' numbers, and here I am just being wingmans on third world dates and shit.
They're like, "Oh, your little brother cute. Maybe you can talk to my little
exactly."
sister.
Nah, man.
Oh,
he's like, "Oh, this is some bullshit."
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that was. You know what? I revised that now. It wasn't with the pressures of getting good grades and shit. It was with the interaction with young ladies and shit. Just because I wasn't getting their attention, like I used to always get that whole "you're cute but you're short."
Yeah.
For me, it was the 5th grade. So I don't know, 11.
About 10 years old, 10, 11.
I don't know.
11? Yeah.
10, 11, something like that.
10, 11.
And essentially the thought that was going through my head at the time is, it's either me or him.
Hold on, elaborate on that, bro.
He's about to be in a fight. That's how
it wasn't a fight. It was They was talking about who was gonna get the last spot in the smartest high school in the league.
Right.
That's what it was. It's me or him.
So long story short, I don't know if it was a miscommunication or misunderstanding, whatever the case is, but someone in the 5th grade was coming after me for something that he said that I did that I didn't do. And I had never had an altercation at the time. I'd never had an altercation my entire life. And it was the first time I ever got snuck, you know. It was the first time I ever got snuck. So he came alongside of me, hit me from one side, and I and it surprised me and threw me into a wall, hitting my head on upside the wall. And I remember I hit the ground, and he's standing over me talking shit. And now, of course, there's all these other kids, this, that, and the other. And I remember I was bleeding. I was bleeding pretty bad because I saw it all over my hand and my clothes, and I snapped. I just snapped, you know. And long story short, you know, some people that were there with some adults that like literally had to like grab me off of him and pull me off him. Even when they were pulling me, I'm still holding on to him, dragging him with me as they're pulling me off. And they're in their eyes, he was the victim because they didn't, you know, they're like, you know, they saw me.
You must have been a big 5th grader.
Nah, I was just like, you know, the whole thing is when your mindset is kill or be killed.
Yeah.
Because I guess in my mind, I saw blood and I thought to myself, he's trying to kill me. You know.
So you know what? Hey,
that's
Black
basically
Juice, check this out.
Huh?
When you recognize that, so we don't really know what age we first had that conversation in our head. Well, you said the 5th grade because you remember that particular scenario.
I remember that particular scenario because the voice was loud.
Yeah, but it was our first fight or flee response.
Yeah, but the voice in my head said,
"Whatever one was our first one." Them voice, because the voices in your head, that's where it kick in when you got to do the fight or flee. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? That voice in your head is instant, and yours said kill him, and you better be lucky you ain't in jail.
Yeah, yeah, but that was the thing.
That's an easy voice.
I could hear that voice loud and clear. You know
that should say kill him.
Like kill him, because like if you let him go, if he gets up, he's gonna kill you. Like,
well, you wasn't a schizophrenic, were you? Because you had the voices that tell you to do bad shit.
Nah, it was that voice would come out loud and clear anytime that I felt threatened. After that day, that voice still comes out. If you come across me the wrong way, speak to me the wrong way, that's the first thing that pops out.
All right, so I got a question. Does that particular voice have a name?
No.
Okay, I'm about to say that you're not a schizo then.
I mean,
like, I call that motherfucker Craig. Oh, that nigga.
I'm out,
fellas. Work tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta go get my
it's
cut.
Valentine's Day.
You got 15 more minutes. You ain't got work tomorrow.
I might have to do mobily though. I told my Uncle Cookie I'm gonna be there at 11:30, bro.
Listen, he got work to do. All right, the women are calling.
No, I'm gonna jump on the mobile because I told my uncle I'll be at 11:30, bro. Look at it's frozen. Yeah.
You ain't smoking no steak or nothing?
Nah. You know what?
Be right back.
I tried some
smoking no lobster, nothing?
Nah, I tried some smoked turkey burgers yesterday, bro. I ain't like them. It was good, but it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, so I didn't even want to bust that one out.
Smoked turkey burgers?
Yeah.
Wait, was it fresh ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't like it though. I ain't like it.
No, I was just asking because you said you ain't like. Yeah, I'm like a smoke. I don't know about a smoked turkey burger.
It was good. It just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, man. That's all. So I could jump on
your meat wasn't right.
Yeah, no, I had to get my meat right now. Man, I'm gonna jump on the mobile, but I'm gonna go black for about 10 minutes.
Hey yo, you still go to Brooklyn?
Me?
Yo, you still go to Brooklyn and get meat?
Come on, sir. That's way back, bro.
Yeah, you. I ain't talking to Cash. I used to go to Brooklyn with you.
That's way back.
Nah, I used to go to Brooklyn to get meat too.
Used to take me to Brooklyn. We used to go to Brooklyn and get meat and seafood. We used to get crab legs. And shit.
Yeah, I did it with Henry as well. Yeah,
Henry used to say
Henry was put I think everyone on to doing that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Gotta put y'all on to them meat shops.
And then I told Wifey about it, and then me and Wifey used to go out there, man. And then
it is, man.
But be the only black folks in that little Asian spot.
Yep. That would have been the perfect
only black
time.
folks in that Asian spot.
that would have been the perfect time.
Only black folks.
That would have been the perfect time to be able to speak Chinese, bro. Wish you were there. He would be the nigga that would have walked away.
What happened?
We're reminiscing during the time when we used to go to like a little Chinatown area to pick up meat. And Kevin's now talking about, that'd be the perfect time for you to learn Mandarin and shit.
That's right. Dedicate 4 years of my life learning Mandarin so that I can say, can I have 4 pounds of beef, please?
Exactly.
That makes it all worth it. That makes it all worth it. That makes it completely worth it.
You can get some cheese. You can get some cheese too.
That makes it completely worth it. You're right. I'm
You're
sorry.
An asshole, Black Zeus. Oh,
you're right. My argument has been completely debunked. You're right.
Just to say, can I get 4 pounds of meat?
4 pounds. And I want that wagyu. I want that wagyu.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, what's up? What else you got on there, Cash? We done? What you got?
We ain't done. We got one more question of yours. Is the chatter internal monologue in your head positive, negative, or 50-50? Now, for me, I would say mostly positive. I've done a lot to try to bury, as you guys would say, probably like a lot of the negative chatter. But then I realized after my recent incident, I don't think that's a good thing. So, but as of now, a lot. So
I got a question then, Cash. Wait, give me percentage. So I said that 50-50. You say you're not that. What you 60-40?
I'll probably say 60-40. Like the things I stress about now,
60-40,
that causes me to have a lot of chatter is financial stuff. Like, my mom, she's up there in age, and she didn't necessarily do what she needed to do to save properly for her retirement. So it's just like now I got to carry that fucking burden. So I be having chatter in my head about that shit a lot of times.
And the nerve of her raising you, feeding you, taking care of you, and now you got this burden.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
no.
You came off as an asshole, bro. You did come off as an asshole.
But
your wording was not right. I know what you're saying, but your wording was bad.
Your negative chatter.
Well, I'm sharing what my negative chatter is. It's financial because it's just like, you know what it is.
It's real. I feel you.
Yeah, like stuff like that. So I would say 65-35 positive.
Okay.
65-35.
Yeah.
I'm like 70-30 right now, I think. I still have it here and there. I'm not perfect with it. Initially, I thought I was 80-20 when I was posing that question. But then I had another thought running through my head and said, damn, motherfucker, you could bring the kids here sometime. So, going through a divorce and shit, it allows a lot of excess baggage with negative chatter through it. But I'm a lot better. You know what I mean? I know how to deal with it better. I know when it's negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know when I'm thinking bullshit. Like I know how to say, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Stop thinking that. Go elsewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know how to do that in my head. I know how to go through them ebbs and flows in your fucking head where you're like, yo. That, like, I asked my kids before, my students, I said, yo, how many of y'all ever thought about committing suicide or doing some bullshit? And it was like, a lot of them said it was like 90%, Initially, it was like 40%. Initially, it was 40%. And I told them, I said, look, I used to live in this building on the motherfucking 12th floor. You know how many times I thought about jumping out the window and saying, well, shit, what's the worst that could happen? Ain't nobody gonna really miss me. It's gonna be that bad. And when I said that, that shit went up to 90%. It was like, yo, I've had bullshit thoughts. Like I've done, you know what I mean? Like that's that negative shit that says, yo, if I jump out this fucking window, you know what I mean? Is it really gonna be that bad for me? Yeah. You know what I mean? Some bullshit. Henry, you back?
Yeah, I was
do the shower dance. Fuck out here.
Yeah, they say that
pretty
cool. Teen suicide rate is the highest it's ever been since they've been tracking teen suicides, yo. Like, these kids today, they're going through it, bro. They had these negative tracks.
The thing is, the kids
they saying it's more right now with COVID. They saying there's more kids talking about committing suicide and killing themselves with this COVID, being locked in the house and not being able to socialize.
You know what though? I think as far as
that's some bullshit though too, man. Because you can have a social party. I was just telling my kids, I'm like, yo, y'all know that it's called like parks. Y'all can meet up and be in a park and shit and talk and shit. Like at the end of the day, everything that's bad ain't what it's saying. You know what I mean? And that's where you gotta dispel that negative chatter, because everything that seemed like it's fucked up and bad ain't as bad as it seems. You ain't got a motherfucker with a gun in your face about give me your car. Shit ain't that bad. You know what I mean? Like, just
but the whole
think
thing
about
is
that shit. Like, you ain't.
That's a matter of what your experiences are. Like, you got people up here talking about white supremacy and math.
This is true.
Like, and rape culture because of Grand Theft Auto. And it's like,
that bullshit.
You got people in Saudi Arabia, women in Saudi Arabia talking about rape culture by a video game. Like, fool, we actually will get murdered. Honor killed for shit that's not our fault.
Honor killed.
Like a dude will rape us and then we get killed for that shit. Like, are you serious? Like, what you know about rape culture? You know what I mean? So it's all a matter of what these people's experience are. And because we've essentially, our society is so blessed with being a first world society, we don't go through shit. The minute that we go through the smallest thing, microaggression, we're looking for, something to say, I'm suffering. I'm going through something too.
I'm going through something.
And it's just like, we have no comparison to those who actually really been through some shit.
You're absolutely right about that shit.
Like, I saw one thing.
But I don't blame the youth for that, though. I don't blame the youth for that. I blame the coddling that we have done and the things that we have.
Absolutely. No, That's what I'm saying. As a society, I'm not talking about just the youth themselves. I'm talking about as a society. You know. Like,
so what's your percentage, bro? In regards of your negative internal monologue, is it
honestly
mostly positive, negative, 50-50?
That motherfucker is like.
I know, right?
Nah, he's like 30-70 reverse.
I gotta be honest. You stupid.
I know. After today, I might have to go up there and give Shupert a hug. Like, yo, you all right, brother? Just let it go. just let it go, brother.
Gotta get him to 35. Yeah, get him to 35, 65. He's still being the red.
When I see you, I'm gonna give you a hug, brother.
You stupid. For the most part, when I always try to stay grounded in reality of life and everything. And I say to myself, you know what? Considering everything I've been through, this, that, and the other, I am more fortunate than friends of mine that I grew up with, this, that, and the other. I have a wife that loves me, a kid that's, awesome. I'm happy with the home I have, the business that I have, this, that, and the other, people around me. So, but I still struggle with my demons just because it's part of who I am. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I know I can flip the switch too easily. So, like I said, with the therapy and everything, keeps me around a 60-40, more 60% positive and 40% negative. And I try to use that 40% in a positive way and say, you know what? This is just to keep me alert and keep me aware of, like, it could go the other way, but I'm not going to let it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is, I think
no, that makes sense.
I think if I was the type of person to push it into an 80-90% good and 10% bad, I'm not staying in touch with reality. And if something does go bad, I'm not prepared for it. So I kind of walk around with the mindset of, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, I'm
Okay,
the
so I
same
got
way.
a question for you since you said that, right?
What's up?
Yeah, I got a question for you though. You just dropped that book, Fitness Uncomplicated, a simple guide to get and stay fit, right?
Right.
Did you go through any negative chatter in putting that book out?
Ooh, good one.
Bruh, you have no idea. I went through a lot of negative chat because I was like, who am I to write a book? Who am I to, I don't have a PhD, you know, I'm not world known, this, that, and the other, blase, blase. And I was really questioning it. I was really questioning it for the longest. And I just thought to myself, like, I'm not capable. I'm not, you know, articulate enough. I'm not knowledgeable enough. And I'm looking for perfection, if you will, you know? Because I'm like, I know somebody's going to knock me. Somebody's going to be like, oh, I thought that shit was garbage. Or someone's going to be like, you know, it wasn't as well. Or here's a new bit of information that's been found out that proves something that you said was wrong. And like, because we're constantly developing and learning new information all the time. And a couple things came to mind. One is the fact of, the passion and happiness that I have from doing what I do, you know, and how I see and how it has an impact on people. And, you know, even people, I have a client of mine, she says to me all the time, you know, she comes to my classes and she says to me like, yo, you know, I'm trying not to put too much of her personal information out, but long story short, she hasn't really moved her weight, you know, as much as she would like, but she is so grateful that I provide the service that I do because somehow it has a major impact in her life. If that makes any sense. Like,
it makes sense.
You know, her coming to my boxing classes, you know, gives her peace. It gives her. Another one of my clients who told me, you know, who I speak to on a regular basis, she tells me how she misses the community of that class, the people that come to that class and talk to one another and interacting with one another. So it kind of makes me feel like there's a value to what I have to give, you know, and I'm going to have critics, and that's just a part of life. You know, you're going to have haters, you're going to have critics. And just because you have haters and critics does not mean you should let them, you know, stop whether or not you're going to take an action, if that makes any sense. You know, but I did struggle with it. I mean, honestly, this book has been probably a year and a half in the making, like stop and go kind of a thing, until I, you know, honestly, when I got COVID and I was sitting in that hospital and I just thought to myself like, yo, you know, if I kind of had a Steve Jobs moment, if you only had like, you know, 30 days, 90 days left to live, what would you do? So I just said, you know what? No, I'm not playing. As soon as I come out this hospital, I'm making this shit happen. I'm gonna get this done. It's already, you know, it's already had its framework. It already had a lot of work put into it. I'm like, I'm gonna get it done.
That makes sense, man. Well, look, bro, you're very articulate because if we could propel Cardi B to the mainstream media and constantly give her a platform, brother, you got mad space. I'm just saying.
And look, while you were sitting in the hospital, you had some positive chatter, obviously.
Yeah. I mean,
I couldn't imagine sitting there with the COVID because that's negative chatter in itself. But
and with the oxygen tank, you were hooked up to the respirator.
Honestly, you know what the positive was? My son. That's all I could think about. Is that I have to be home for Christmas for my son.
For my son, yeah.
I got a son. Thing. It's like, that's why, you know, like in the book, they said that you need, you know, and this is also something that's in my book where I said, like, in order for you to get in shape, you need a tribe. You can't just do it because you got the right diet, you got the right workout. You need a tribe. You need people around you that are motivating, that are going to help keep you on track. Maybe they have the same goals as you. Maybe they're, you know, just, you know, and that's the thing, is the fact that a community that is built at my gym is a tribe.
You know what? The two books I read on Stoicism
club is a tribe.
Yeah. The two books on Stoicism that I read, Gorilla Mindset and The Way of Men, they both talked about the importance of having a tribe. Like, you can't go about life by yourself.
Yeah,
it's the worst. No. It's the worst detriment you could ever do to yourself.
Yeah, it really is.
And
it really is. That independent, I could do it all by myself. Yeah,
nah, that's the quickest way to be destructive.
Exactly. So it's like, family, friends, community circles. These are, and like we're seeing it now. We're a very gregarious society. We need one another. And the whole thing is this COVID thing has been destroying people left and right because they've been kind of stranded on their own. If you're a single person right now with no spouse at home to be locked down with no kid, people were getting dogs and this and because we need a tribe. We need a family. We need connection.
You heard that, Kevin Samuels? You heard that, Kevin Samuels? Niggas are getting dogs, bro.
I ain't getting a dog, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Get a dog or die alone.
Get a dog or die alone.
Yeah, well, I know y'all niggas ain't used to me being on this late, so I'm going to answer the question before we move the fuck on to the next one.
Go ahead.
I think maybe I got like 10% negative chatter. So that should still be lingering longer than the positive.
I'm jealous.
You said
you only got 10%
negative.
Wow,
chatter?
good. That's awesome, bro.
I believe it because Kel is always like, and that's
optimistic.
The thing. Since day one, when I met Kel, I like that about him is that he always came in with this good energy no matter what, even when he's stressing about whatever's going on with work, at home, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I really like this dude. He's like, and he's genuine about it.
I think it is.
That's true.
I think that shit is like, the only stress I really got is at my fucking job. And at the end of the day, if this shit don't fucking work out and I got to take a step back and be a teacher again or whatever, I know I'm good financially. So I'm like, man, fuck it, yo. Like, I'm going to try my best. And if this shit don't fucking work out, it is what it is, man. I mean, you wanted to. And, like, even with this whole fostering shit, out of all the niggas we had, that last nigga I had, that little young nigga was the only motherfucker who bust stuff up in his house. And that nigga was only there for, like, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the only shit I be going through, just at work, dealing with these other teachers, learning how to deal with them motherfuckers. But then even with that shit, I got like 3 of them motherfuckers who don't like me, and don't think I'm doing a good job. But then,
are they all older than you?
Yeah. Yeah. But then I oversee.
Of course.
And like, not for nothing. Them niggas, they got a right to feel that way. Cause I be fucking up. Like I be making mistakes. But nigga, I oversee like 16 motherfuckers. So if 3 of y'all niggas don't like me, I think that ratio is pretty good. Is that 10%? Cause if that ain't 10%, whatever percentage 3 out of 16 is, that's the percentage of negative chatter I got right now.
That's about 20%, bro.
Okay. Dang, 20%? Is it?
80-20.
Yeah, it's about 20%.
That's what I'm at with it, but.
All right, so you're more human now. So your negative is 20%.
Well, I mean, it's those.
This motherfucker's about to be on some Gandhi level at 10%.
But then even so,
by the way, Kel, you know where I learned that math? In school.
Schubert, that's division, my nigga. I said you need multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition.
I'm messing with you, bro. I'm just messing with you.
And percentages. I need to know how much. I need to know if they have 20% off of these jeans. How much I'm paying.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I learned percentages really from NBA.com, yo. Looking like, this nigga was 3 for 5 last night. I'm giving it real. That nigga was 5 for 7. Nigga shot like 83%. Yo, I'm keeping it real. That's how I learned my percentages, yo.
I can't.
On some real shit.
Hey,
well, no, that's a lot of people. Like, yo, when you talk to people who gamble, I know Smith, his math skills got to be on point when you start talking about spreads and shit.
Gambling,
yeah. Every dude I know that's on point with their math gambles to some degree, bruh.
But you know what? I think it's just a matter of like going back to education. It's a matter of application. If there's no application for it, it's kind of like it gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
It gets lost.
It gets lost, yeah. You will lose it. You don't use it, you will lose it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, maybe we could squeeze in my last question. At what point should professional help be sought before our inner thoughts become destructive?
Woo!
That's the first sign of that shit.
How do you identify it though? Like,
you said the first sound.
Now, you know what?
because you can have a negative thought, but it's not destructive yet.
Yeah, I'll take it back. I think when you act on that shit and you see it has a negative impact either on yourself or somebody else. Like, okay, I'm gonna provide that shit too. If that shit happens consistently, I'm gonna say like more than once.
Okay.
Not negative inner thoughts, but maybe if you having the same negative inner thought over and over, whether it's anger or fear or, him or me, I want to kill this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that shit happens more than once, I'll say after that second time, man, you might want to start considering like, yo, maybe I need to go and get some help.
From my own personal experience, I'll say it depends on the situation. So if we're talking about action, like let's say the action is someone came across me the wrong way and I smacked them. No major damage done. Still not a cool way to respond to things. Something I need to be aware of. If I can get that shit in control, this, that, and the other. Like, yo, that wasn't cool. Shouldn't have did that, this, that, and the other. In a scenario of like, someone comes across you and the first thing that is that you're trying to damage them, as much as humanly possible, you need immediate therapy. You need immediate therapy in that case. As far as thoughts, we all come across negative thoughts. Oh man, I messed up. Oh, fuck my life. This, that, and the other. That's normal. But when we dwell on those thoughts and it becomes compulsive and it actually starts to affect our everyday, our behavior, our sleep, this, that, and the other, definitely seek therapy immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say on that, from my own personal experience.
Yeah, I think you should. It depends on what kind of voices you're hearing. Are you hearing your own voices? Or are you hearing another voice? Is this your mother's voice, or is this another whole totally inner thought that's different? Oh no, in a voice that's different. Are you hearing the voice of God? Is this a spiritual voice that you're hearing? And are you acting on the spiritual voice? You might want to get help at one of these levels, depending on which one it is. But it also depends on if you're acting out on it. Because you could be hearing the voice of a devil or a demon. People hear weird shit. That's where you get in that level of schizophrenia. It depends on what voices are they hearing, but not just hearing the voices. Am I acting out on the voice that I hear? Do I put these actions into place when this voice says, go burn this building down? Do I say, okay, shit, I'm going to go burn it down? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do I act on that shit? If you're starting to do that shit on actions, then you probably should seek some fucking help.
Yeah.
Cash? I think you said this earlier, Cal. I think when you're constantly dwelling on things, and it's manifesting. What I loved about what Ethan Kross was saying, like when it manifests to the point where you become physically ill, like where you start developing migraines and you start developing ulcers and all sorts of medical conditions, all because you're stressing to the point where now you got high blood pressure. That's one thing I have. I think some of that is hereditary, but there's other things about that where it's just like, okay, I dwell on certain things for a little bit, way too longer than I should. But yeah, I think it's when it physically takes a toll on you. I think that should help. And like what Black Susan, what Smith said, when you start to now also physically act on it, whether you, like Smith said, burning down a building, or you're in Schubert's case where you about to start punching people at random and shit like that, But like for me, my first go-to is when it starts manifesting in a point where it starts to physically disable you.
Yeah. Yo, do y'all have a conversation with the chatter in your head, or is it just some shit that's fucking talking to you and you don't talk back?
For me,
no,
it's just
I
it talks to me.
I have a conversation.
I don't have a conversation. I just let it keep talking to me. And
we talk like how we talking right now. This is how we talk. Yeah. This is how me and the voices in my head talk. How we talking right now. That shit's weird, but this is how it's like this.
I think it's weird.
No, I'm just saying for people to take it and understand.
Because you know how like back in the day you used to watch a cartoon or a TV show and they had like the little angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder.
The devil on the other. Yeah.
It's a conversation like that. Like, you know, there's the one side of me that's saying, don't do it. It's not worth it. This, that, and the other. And the other side of me saying, don't let this motherfucker get away with it. He'll think if he get away with it the first time, he'll come back and do it again. You know, like.
But check this out, though. Check this out, Black Zeus. All of our thoughts we don't have control of. It's like our digestive system. Some of that shit is physiological. You don't have control over those thoughts. You want to control them.
Yeah.
But some of them shits are involuntary, and we're trying to get control over these shits. You don't have control of that thought that goes in your head that says, I'll take it to a female perspective. You see this female and you're like, damn, I fucked the shit out of it. It was a thought that just instantly happened because you saw the beauty sexually.
Yeah, but this is what I said earlier in the conversation about Sam Harris.
Though. But that's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is the fact of that's what I was saying in the beginning of our conversation about the neuroscientist Sam Harris, where he said we have no control of where these thoughts come from and how they come along and this, that, and the other. We don't just say, "Oh, here it comes, stop."
Yeah, here it comes, stop. Yeah,
you know, like we don't have that. You know.
Yeah.
So the thought itself is like it's there. And, you know, I think like for me, I have a conversation with these thoughts or I go back and forth between them. You know, I go back and forth. The devil says do this. The angel says do that. Which one makes more sense? Which one is more applicable to this situation? Which one is, you know, which one's a better argument, if you will?
That's where it goes back to the book. Because are these your thoughts? Or are these society thoughts or thoughts that's been embedded in you? That's where it goes back to the book. That's the funny thing about thinking. You know what I mean? Am I thinking my own thoughts? Are these my thoughts or are these thoughts that have been put into me by other people at some point? I feel like I'm being rational and thinking of my own shit and saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But is that somehow embedded in there some weird way that I've taken this ladder or this scale pyramid step to get up to this same shit that they told me was going to happen anyway?
Yeah, I think I have a conversation because I be thinking that shit. I even catch myself saying out loud, man, I ain't fucking doing that shit.
Yep.
I'll do that. Or like, man,
sometimes you need to say it out loud just to confirm it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm thinking about, you know, that teacher at my job who's on some bullshit, man, I say out loud, man, fuck that bitch.
You know why? You know why I like you though, Kel? Because you'll think about it. You'll have it internal, and then you'll call out and ask for, you know what I mean, an opinion. Like, what do you think about this, man? I was thinking this is what the situation is. So you already done your internal battle. You already had that conflict of struggle between, man, it's some bullshit. But let me see. Am I on the bullshit? Let me see if it's really some bullshit. Let me call somebody else.
You know what, though, Smith? The part that I got to get better at is by the time I had the conversation with y'all niggas, I already acted on it and be like, man, you think I was wrong? I got to start doing like, yo, I'm thinking on some real shit, yo. And this is shit that my boss tells me, like, yo, like I move too fast. Where I got to sit back and I'm starting a mantra now, like on some real shit. I started a mantra where my shit is like, yo, wait 1 hour. Like if a nigga gives me some directions or says do so-and-so, before I do anything, I got to wait an hour. Whether I'm just sitting there not doing it or having a conversation like, what should I do? Because I do jump on that, yo.
Yo, you are funny. You are funny. Because you'll do it and then call and be like,
and then be like, am I wrong? Yeah.
Are you wrong? Yeah, you wrong. Why you didn't call me before you made this decision?
Yeah, so that's the shit that I'm working on some real shit, bro. Like slowing the fuck down. And like before I act, I'm either asking niggas or I'm just like thinking that shit the fuck through.
Hey, but the whole thing is, there's some scenarios where it's like it actually sits in your mind, like, you know, I can address this later. But there's some scenarios like in the moment.
Yeah,
in the moment, you're like,
I don't even want to hear that, bro, because that's how the fuck I get down, man. And it doesn't really bite me in my personal life too much, but in my professional life, bro, like I think like that's why I have a chatter with myself afterwards, because I be looking like, man, if I had really just thought this shit through, yeah, these motherfuckers was wrong with the shit that they did, but I probably could have handled that shit a little bit differently.
You ain't have to go as hard, because I already know how you go.
Yeah, super hard. Writing niggas up, all that shit.
I already know.
Man,
you going to the extreme.
Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck what you think. My shit, yo, your shit was wrong. No, I ain't taking that shit back. Y'all be thinking, man, I probably could have took that shit back.
Nah, nobody likes Henry at his job.
Yo, on some real shit,
Everybody likes it.
on some real shit, like the two, it's like 2.5. It ain't even 3. But the 2.5, the 2 people I can understand, Al. Like, yo, y'all did some shit. I could have handled it a little differently, but I went fucking hard on y'all, Al.
Yeah, that's
Listen,
crazy.
sometimes you gotta put your wood on the table, man. You gotta let them know.
Man, my wood stayed in my pocket, bro. I've been walking around my dick out for half this year. You know, it is what it is, though. But, yeah, I definitely do have that chatter. It ain't a conversation back and forth, but it's like a nigga talking to me, and I'd be like, man, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit.
I know that's
all right, I'm going to do that shit. Like, that's as far as the conversation back. You know, that's as far as the conversation goes.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
All right, fellas.
So, I'm about to say, so this is what it feels like to be on that 11:18.
Oh, no, we go on
Yeah.
other tangents, bro.
Yeah, we be going till 1 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, we be going on other tangents. Like sometimes if it's a news segment that we didn't capture, we might touch on it just because it's the news of the weekend.
Speak of which, what y'all think about that acquittal?
Here we go. Oh, okay. I thought we were going back to that other shit.
Nah. But Black Zeus, didn't I call it? I said it was a waste of time, bruh.
Yeah.
Called it.
What's that?
I said it was a waste of time. They didn't have enough. Like I was watching it on C-SPAN for the past 2 days.
I'm glad they took the shot. At least they took the shot. It didn't go in, but whatever.
Bruh,
at least they took the shot.
If you had impeached Trump, the shit just would have backfired on the Democratic Party, bruh. Because Trump defense team did a montage of like everything that Trump has said that was eerily similar to what the Democratic elected officials said. And they were just like, what's the difference? That was the argument.
Oh yeah, with the fight on and fight on and fight.
Yeah. It was like, me personally, because I like to watch C-SPAN and watch all of these coverages and stuff like that. I knew that was going to happen. And it was just like, yo, you were just going to open yourself up to, like, you could impeach him for maybe other things, but on the grounds of inciting violence at the Capitol, nah, bruh. That shit was just a weak argument for me.
It was a weak argument. They tried.
But the thing is, what I hate about
it
was
what it was. Everybody knew what it was, but
you wasted all that time. Where's our stimulus?
No, you knew the Republicans wasn't going
to
budge on that.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. But that's the thing.
You had 7 Republicans that broke line. The rest wasn't, because Trump still has 74 million votes, and he still holds power in the Republican Party, and they still kowtow and bow. And at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. It's white at its finest, as it's always been. You know, what else is new? I
just look at it as a level of incompetence because, yo, where's the stimulus? Yeah, I wasted
on that,
bruh. Yo, Biden made it sound like he was gonna work on this shit from day one. He got that shit was gonna happen immediately.
Look, think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. Check this out. Just hear this. Yo, that last impeachment trial took how long?
Damn near a year.
And how long did this one take?
A few weeks.
Okay.
They are saying
it's over, bro. It's over. They working on the stimulus.
But where's the priority though?
The priority, but he told him to work on both at the same time. But look,
the priority should have been the priority. You got a bunch of people unemployed.
Let me say this. The priority is that the Republicans don't want to sign what he said we wanted to sign.
But Biden is
that's
the
thing.
But he's backtracking. He's backtracking.
He said give them the 1,400.
Initially he was saying give the 2,000. The 2,000.
No.
They already got 600.
No. They
agreed
agreed on the 600 back in December, but he made it sound they agreed. No, actually back in late November. And during the whole time Trump was still president, he was like, yo, you guys really dealing on such a stimulus package, giving Pakistan and all these other people something. Yo, let's give the people 2,000. They already agreed on the 600. So my thing is now Biden is saying like, yo, we're going to give you 1,400. And a lot of people, I sent you this article from The Hill. Even though your most progressive Democrats are saying like, yo, this is not what Biden basically stomped on. He said, yo, he was going to give 2,000 in addition to the 600.
He's been
nah, bro. I sent you no, bro. He reneged. That's what he did.
Send me the article.
I sent you the article.
Because he's still saying that 1,400, it was the 1,400
that
he said in his campaign
2,000.
promise.
No, it was
2,000.
No, make it 2,000, man.
He'll make it. No, I send you the article where he made it sound.
I'm going to read it.
Where he made it sound as though the 2,000.
No, he didn't make it sound as though. That's how people interpreted it. He said what he said.
Nah,
he
bro.
He said 1,400.
Nah, bro.
Man.
He didn't say 1,400 initially.
I think I'm with Smith on this, Al.
I sent the article. But my thing is, you wouldn't waste. For me, I saw this from Jump Street.
Well, let me ask this. Did the 600 come from the Biden administration that just came in, or was it?
It was Trump.
No, it was Trump. Exactly.
So at the end of the day, that is not Biden's doing. That 600 is not Biden's doing.
That 600 was not Biden's doing.
And Biden said, "I'm going to put 1,400."
No, he didn't, bro.
He did.
No,
that was the wording, man.
Watch this. I'm going to keep talking, but
send me the article.
I'm going to send you the article right now.
Send it to me, and I'm going to read it. You already know I'm going to read it.
From CNBC, critics says Biden COVID relief plan breaks promise of $2,000 stimulus check. CNBC, bro.
That's the only outlet you got?
No, it's not the only outlet.
Hey, I'm just saying.
CNN. Stimulus checks. Biden's to put $2,000 payments back in plan. 2,000. This was back in January 14th. Yo, the 600 was
so
separate.
You're saying the total is gonna be the total was
2,600
total. Nah,
yes.
that ain't right.
No, they never said nothing about 2,600.
No. Stop.
Go ahead,
The whole thing is we're getting two things. We're getting two administrations mixed up here.
Nope, they put them together.
Can't. Hold on. Let me finish. Biden can't make a promise of money that he wasn't in charge of at the time when Trump was still in power. He could agree to it, but he can't actually make that promise. So if he did, I'm not exactly sure, but if he did make a promise of giving 2,000, as part of his campaign, that's his promise of 2,000.
Thank you.
He can't take. But now, if he hold on. Let me finish. The whole thing is, there's a difference. Did he promise 2,000 with his campaign, or did he agree with Trump about the 2,000? And now it's gonna basically make good on the 2,000 that Trump already promised.
That's what it sounded like.
But CNBC.
So that's the question.
But that's the question. CNBC just said that, and thank you, Black Zeus. That's what it was. You cannot promise in addition, because he made it sound like in addition to the $600 that a $2,000 stimulus was going to be administered. This is why you have all of these critics coming out and saying like, yo, you reneged on your promise.
No. His initial promise was 2,000 if the Senate turned blue. The Senate actually didn't turn blue. That was his initial thing, because I can pull it up.
Man,
hey, look, we can do article for article. I got an article that
we go article for article.
All right, let's go article for article.
That's what I'm saying. I got an article that
Senator Cory Bush Senator Cory Bush even said, yo, the $1,400 that she's a Democratic senator, black chick. She said, yo, the $1,400 is not the 2,000 that the Biden administration promised, bro. I got a bunch of senators.
The House passed a bill in December that would have raised those stimulus checks to 2,000 bought by Mitch McConnell, refused to bring it to a vote to the Senate. They never brought it to a vote. The election would put an end to the block in Washington on a $2,000 stimulus check, said President-elect Biden. He wasn't even the president at that time, and they already blocked this shit, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying that, but at the same time,
they wouldn't let it pass. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about whether they let it pass.
And the 400 make the 600 and the 400 makes 2,000,
and that's how he's justifying it. But that's not how he campaigned on it, bro. That's how he's justifying it.
Listen, they changed that campaign. If you've been following, they changed that early.
Of course, and that's what the Biden administration has constantly. He constantly reneged on shit.
No, look, he said 2,000 and then before he was even elected, they had already rolled it back to the 1600 or the 1400.
14.
Yeah, they had already
14.
rolled it back to that. They've been rolled it back to that. I was following it. They've been rolled it back to the 14. And it's been 14. 14 plus 6 equal 2,000.
And look,
at the end of the day,
There you go, bro.
hold on. At the end of the day, why do you got to give anybody $2,600? Why do you have to give anybody $600? You saw
that's a different conversation. Yeah.
No, I'm saying he said what he said, and then he changed his mind, and he said something different. Listen, I'm not a Biden supporter. Don't get it twisted. All right.
But what I'm saying, that is problematic when you kind of renege on what your initial statement.
He didn't renege, though. He didn't renege.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you the article I have. You send me the article you have.
I already sent it in the group chat, bro.
Oh, okay.
I think from what I'm gathering,
I'll show you yours if you show me mine.
From what I'm gathering,
I ain't getting
Biden made the promise. And then he made it in his campaign, and then after that, when he actually got in office, it didn't go as well as he thought it would go. And now,
so what politician hasn't done that? Like, are y'all serious?
But that's the whole point, though.
I was going to say,
but there is no point. There is no point, Cash. There is no point. Are you serious?
But that's the whole point.
This is politics, bro. Are we serious?
I understand the politics, but what I'm saying is it comes across as very misleading. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm going to send you the article that I got where he only said $1,400.
But that's the whole point. That's all I'm saying. It comes across as misleading.
The misleading part is the fact that everybody got to pay taxes on the money that they've already received. That's
my thing is,
Speak for yourself. I didn't receive nothing.
I didn't receive
anything. I don't have to
either.
speak for myself. I live in New Jersey, folks that don't live in Jersey. We don't have to pay taxes on ours. I'm just saying. And I'm not an unemployment person. I'm not an unemployment person, but I already did the homework. In New Jersey, they don't have to play on unemployment. Holla. We only deal with research here. Facts and numbers. Kevin Samuels has said that, right? Facts and numbers. That's all we deal with.
That's the only thing that matters. But my thing is with all this is
shout out to Kevin Samuels.
People have been unemployed for well over 8-9 months now.
Look,
you got.
I want to tell you this. Let me say this. Kevin.
Well, I ain't finished my statement.
I know. Let me just. I want to stop you there.
Smith, let him finish, bro.
Let me say this. Well, I got this article. Let me just say this one thing. The last 2 rounds of stimulus checks were paid to full individuals making less than $75,000 annually. Bruh, I make 6 figures and I've gotten every stimulus check. I'm just saying, what are we having?
Yeah, me too.
I'm just saying, like, what are we really having a conversation about? I've gotten everyone, bruh.
But that's anecdotal.
He's a public servant.
Yeah, that's
it's
anecdotal.
Because I'm a public servant?
Bro, I haven't received the last one. I'm not eligible for the last one.
But the flip could be I got kids, but Kel don't got kids.
Yeah, so that could be a flip. But
there is no calculator for it.
But what I'm saying is, though, Smith, the whole point is we wasted time on an impeachment trial that wasn't going to amount to anything. And
it took 2 weeks.
Listen to Smith. All I'm saying is you wasted time and the U.S. money, because that impeachment trial cost us money. And what I'm saying is the most important thing while we're in the most historic point in our life where we're essentially in a great depression 2.0. And people have been unemployed since March. Is you wasted is the fact.
So what's the most important thing, Cash?
To get money in the people's pockets that need it.
Cash, you talk about this 1,400 and people still ain't get their last 600. So what are we really having a conversation about?
Whether or not they,
like,
just get money in their pocket.
But they didn't even get their first 600.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Look, check it out, Cash. They're about to be taxed on money they ain't even get yet.
Understood, and that's what I'm saying, Smith.
But the Senate don't care about that.
But Smith.
I hear what you're saying. I said I agree with you, but hear what I'm saying. They don't agree with you, and they don't care about that.
But that's where my disappointment comes in when Black
Well, just say you disappointed with it then.
Yeah, that's where my disappointment and my frustration comes in when Black Zeus asks, what do I think about the impeachment trial and the acquittal? And I say, it was a waste of time and waste of resources. When you have when you have most important things that are out there that the American public need. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you know that was Tom Brady boy, right? You know Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
He said that shit.
Trump won 2
That's
Super
where your
Bowls,
stimulus
right?
money went.
You know
But
Trump
back
won
to
2
back
Super
in-
Bowls, right? Back-to-back impeachments,
Back
baby.
to back impeachment.
First president to ever, first of all, be impeached twice, and he won both. So what are you talking about, man? Like, listen to the conversation we really have it. Think about this. First president, back to back. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about the money to the people. They don't care about who the president is.
And that's what I'm saying.
Listen, you got a Republican Party that their knees, toes in the ground. They're toe down. They don't care. They don't give a fuck about you, me, and
That personally,
American
it's
people.
both parties that don't give a fuck about us.
It's
both
one party, bruh. It's one party, bruh.
No, it's both of these parties.
Then why
the
didn't
Democratic
Party
Party
and let the money
nor
fly?
do the Republican
Listen,
Party.
you know this is America. Just let the money fly. Just let the money fly.
Yeah,
Sign bills and let money fly.
Understood, but unfortunately, they like to dilly-dally in regards of how much money the American people deserve. Meanwhile, you're
Because
giving
they
billions
don't
of dollars
care.
to corporations.
Because they don't care about the American people, is what I'm saying.
And I get that, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
My bad,
okay,
Kel. I
right.
feel like this is my fault.
No, it's not. But but I said
Kel
this.
has left the building.
But the entire
damn.
But the entire time I said this when the moment the word impeachment came to the forefront of this whole thing. I said it's going to be a waste of time. I said that.
Exactly. Now look, but check it out, Cash. That's over and done. Fuck it. They wasted the time. Now what? They still want to waste fucking time, bruh.
And that's the problem.
This is politics, and it's American politics.
And it's a problem.
So it didn't matter whether they did the impeachment or didn't. They were still going to waste time. Because now what they're going to do?
But the impeachment served as the perfect. But the thing is, the impeachment served as the imperfect distraction. That's what it was.
But now it's over with. Now what's going to happen, Cash? It's over with. He got off. It's over. Now what's going to happen? Do we
now
get
the
money
Democratic
on Monday?
Party has no excuse.
Hey, Cash, do we get money on Monday? Do we get money on Tuesday? Do we get money on Wednesday? So what is going to happen now?
But that's what I'm trying to get at, bro. That's what
I hear you, but what
I'm
asking, I know it. I'm asking you. They wasted time, and what's going to happen now? They all going to do is waste more time.
But
like,
now,
you're acting like if they didn't go through with the impeachment, they was going to have a butterfly or
what I'm saying is,
all of a sudden.
but I'm not. What I'm getting at though is just that you just had more imperative things to talk about and try to handle. That's all I'm getting at, Smith. That's all.
All they talked about was the Trump trial, Cash. I agree with you. All they talked about was that.
Listen. I agree with both of y'all. All right, and the whole thing is, I do have to agree with Cash. The fact of there are more important things, but at the same token, you're talking about the country that put who gets to use what bathroom versus black people not being shot in the street by cops.
Yo, the level of
innocent black people not being murdered by cops.
Yo, you're right.
You got to realize where you're at. Okay, where white supremacy is in math all of a sudden. But you got to realize the insanity of the whole freaking country. So this bit of insanity should not confuse you. You're in a madhouse. All right, you're expecting everything to be logical and make sense. We already know at this point it does not.
And that's where the frustration kicks in. It's just like the level of distractions that we have as a nation is sickening. It's just like this is why we're so incompetent to the rest of the world. Is because we want to focus on an impeachment trial that will amount to a president who's no longer in office versus to like having people who's been unemployed for 10 months. Come
this
on,
is why
man.
we got to get rich. So these
this shit is dumb as hell. That's why I was just like, yo, this shit is dumb. So I'm glad they're done with their.
I agree.
I'm glad they're done with their acquittal. And like you said,
at the end of the day, I'm just frustrated as hell with it. I agree with you on that.
Because the thing is, that cost us money.
All it's going to do is be a carnival. It's a merry-go-round.
Exactly.
You're right.
And it was
but
just
they're not concerned about what it cost us.
And that's
where never been concerned.
And that's where I get so upset, man, because I feel like, to be honest, yo, you need more Americans on the street really having an uproar about the level of incompetence in office. I remember you saying this a while back, Smith.
Have you ever thought about running?
Nancy Pelosi needs to be gone. She needs to be gone because the little ticky-tack shit that she be doing, I'd be like, yo, come on, man. Like, yo, you need to go. Like, you need to go. I remember you saying that shit, and I agree. Like, yo, Nancy Pelosi needs to go.
She's a high school cheerleader. She wants it her way. But
she wants it her